Hey, this is Dave, the Caregiver's Caregiver at caregiverdave.com, coming to you on the number one rated caregiver podcast on the internet, along with my lovely co-host, best-selling author, and former mayor of Grover Beach, California, Debbie Peterson. Hey, Debbie.
Dave.
And we have an especially exciting show planned for you today. Born and raised in Fort Worth, Texas, now in Austin, Texas, author of Oh, the Frogs I Kissed Before I Finally Found My Prince, a dating memoir for seniors. And My Prince Relocated to Heaven. Victoria, so great to have you on the Caregiver Dave radio show.
Thank you so much for having me.
And let's just get right into the questions. Debbie, why don't you start?
Well, I'm curious. You said your prince had Parkinson's. And my question was, did you know he had Parkinson's when you met your prince?
I don't know that he knew. It wasn't, we were married, and then he that's whenever his PCP told him, it looks like you might have Parkinson's. But, he was on no medications. It didn't affect him at all at that point in time, other than it was in the back of his mind that it's a possibility because his mom had Parkinson's.
And then, what do you think is the number one rule for all caregivers? Because obviously you did some caregiving in the end.
The number one thing for me was to take care of myself. Because, whenever you're on the airplane and they say if we lose oxygen and that thing comes down, they say take care of yourself first and then take care of other people. Otherwise, you won't be able to take care of them. Along with that, parallel with that, was my feeling guilty about wanting to take care of myself.
And how did you resolve the guilt? Did you manage to get past that stage?
We talked a lot, and I talked with my family a lot. And I was his primary caregiver for about 4 or 5 months. And at the time, I was in my 70s as well. So I wasn't a spring chicken when this happened. So fortunate that we had the resources to pay for that, because Medicare and all those things don't pay for that. And so we sat down with our families and just said, hey, your inheritance is being spent now on this home health care we're getting for my husband.
I'm wondering if you have any tips. What are some things that you can recommend to folks who all of a sudden their prince or princess has Parkinson's or anything else that needs caregiving?
Well, one thing that helped me was to stay organized, because he had 7 different meds he was taking 4 times a day. And it helped me to put those in those little containers that they give you you can buy at the drugstore. And then we set alarms for 8 a.m., 12 noon, 4 p.m., and 8 p.m. And that was helpful. And also in the later times, it helped me to lay out his clothes at night before we would get him ready in the mornings, so that nobody was scrambling around to find him. And then meal planning and some of the home health people helped with that as well. And they'd also help me with laundry and stuff. I was trying to do all of that before I got the help. I was raised in an environment where you get up and you take care of yourself every day. Sometimes I take my grandkids to school in the mornings, and I still get up and shower and get ready for the day for a 5-minute trip down the street to their school. Because I'm afraid, oh my gosh, if I were in a car accident, I don't want to be there in my house robe. Well, my husband was very meticulous about that too. He just wanted to feel good and look good. It was important that we kept that up. The reason I mention that is because some of the home health care people would come over. They'd get there about 7:30 in the mornings to help me get him up and ready. And they'd say, oh, you're dressed and ready for the day. I go, well, yeah. Oh, a lot of our caregivers don't. They don't do that. And I often thought, I can't imagine doing that.
What about asking for help?
Okay, well, that was as a result of a joint family meeting, because the families came together and said, you can't keep doing this. This is not good for you. If I wanted to go buy groceries or something, I would have to load him in the car and take him with me, because I didn't want to leave him home alone. Occasionally, either of my next door neighbors would come over and stay with him while I did that. But it just became such that, especially in the end, whenever they said, that's it, you're going to get help, that it became necessary. And so they said, you're going to get help. And that's how I got help.
So what was his level of independence in the beginning, and how did it progress? And then at the end, I mean, what could he do? What couldn't he do?
Well, as you know, Parkinson's is a progressive disease. It's very gradual. It's not like this. It's like a very slow incline. Towards the end, also with Parkinson's, you have balance issues, and he couldn't walk without a walker. I'd always have to keep that, it's called a tether on him. So whenever he would fall, and he did, he would take me with him because I was tethered to him. We did get a special walker that was built for Parkinson's. Towards the end, he was losing cognition. He was forgetting who he was. And
so
then
a little dementia that goes with it, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's talk about the happy times. Dating's a lot different at whatever we are than it was in high school. I still feel 17, but what's some of your advice to seniors who are we know we've got some wrinkles and some scars and cellulite and all of it. What's your advice to seniors?
Well,
Debbie's single, by the way.
well, here, let me send you my book, Deb.
Oh, I'd love to have your book. Well, I'll just go on Amazon, right?
Right, Amazon, yeah. There's a whole bunch of stuff here about takeaways, what I've learned. Sorry, I was married 30 years and got divorced. It was amicable. I was 55 when I started dating. I learned very quickly that I wasn't in high school anymore. There's slim pickings out there, you know what I mean? The one thing I would say is to you be you. Because I noticed that, Oscar Wilde said it best. He said, be yourself, everyone else is taken. By that I mean, if you be your authentic self, warts and all, there's going to be somebody that's going to love you just like that. Just like you're going to accept them just like that. But if you try to be somebody different that you're not, it's not going to, it'll break off. It won't. The other thing I would say is forgive yourself for your past mistakes. Who among us doesn't have baggage? This book is full of my mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is keep your finances in check, because there are people that will think that you're going to be their meal ticket. And that goes for both men and women. I tried to avoid people with a lot of credit card debt because I didn't have any at that time in my life. I guess now I would say, in fact, I have a friend that just started dating again, and I said, check his credit scores.
You're really interviewing these guys.
Yeah. Like I said, Dave.
Got a checklist.
Full of stuff here. Good advice. But anyway, how long has it been since you've been out in the dating world, Deb?
Oh gosh, I was divorced or separated and then later divorced 22 years ago. And I was so focused on being there for my son, raising my son, and then after that, I was so focused on my writing and my career and just having so much fun with it. I really didn't care.
Excellent. That's the best way to be, because I was also going to say, sometimes older people settle. We try to put a square peg into a round hole. And it's part of making people fit into what we perceive to be our prince or princess. And that's not going to work either. But the reason that you settle is because you think, oh my goodness, there's not much to choose from out here. And so I always put it in God's hands too. And that's when I met Don. He was my late husband. And I met him on eHarmony, by the way. Shout out to eHarmony.
Mm-hmm.
eHarmony has you fill out a questionnaire so you can find out where your strengths and weaknesses are. And we were 85% compatible in that.
Wow. Some of that stuff you can figure out for yourself, though. I mean, it's pretty obvious. You're either compatible or you're not. I mean, that comes up pretty quickly in dating.
Sometimes, not always.
Wow.
Yeah, I think you shouldn't be too desperate either. You know, I've always told my girls, a bad marriage is worse than no marriage, you know?
Absolutely. And
being single isn't that hard. I mean, you know, if you love yourself, you can be your own best friend.
Absolutely.
God says, love others as you love yourself. You don't even love yourself, and a lot of people don't. They need to learn to love themselves so that they can learn to love others. Don't you agree?
It's a perfect way to say that. And it's also another way to say you be you, because they are going to love you no matter what. And you just can't, you can't make it happen. It's just not going to happen.
As they say, love me or leave me.
Exactly. But back to the good times. We had, we both loved family, and we both loved current events, keeping up. We voted at all the elections. And we didn't always share the same political views, but we always had healthy discourse about, what we liked and didn't like.
And you still stayed together, huh?
Oh, absolutely.
That breaks up a lot of marriages,
Right.
especially these days.
Yeah, that's also one thing I say. Try to
How do
get
you
someone
agree?
that's
How do you agree to disagree on politics and go to bed, loving each other?
Good question. I don't know. We discussed it, but he'd go his way and I'd go my way. That's what it was.
That's the way.
It's about being yourself, isn't it?
Exactly. And
that's the way it should be.
Same with religion, too. He's Christian, I'm Christian. That has to be compatible too.
Christianity.
I don't think I could ever date somebody who was agnostic or didn't believe in God.
There you go. As opposed to you can't date anybody who voted for Trump, for example. All right, let's get back on track here. How did you know that he was your prince when you were kissing all these frogs before?
Funny thing, once I met him, I didn't really date any more frogs. It wasn't necessary because he just so charming and sweet and kind and such a loving person, giving. I mean, you just know, Dave.
You didn't want to look anymore.
I did not. And the thing is, I just upped my eHarmony subscription to 2 years. And that was in August. I met him in September. So there's 2 years of subscriptions. I never used them because I didn't.
And you had the piece of canceling your subscription.
I never thought of it. I don't know. I don't know. It was pretty whirlwind. He was just so good to me and so good to be true and so much different than these guys. I actually broke up with them. And because I thought, oh my gosh, I don't know if this is just too good to be true. But then about a week or so later, I said, oh, that was dumb.
Is redating for seniors for everybody? I mean, is there such a thing as a one-man woman and a one-woman man?
Well, I think you said it best, or Deb said it. You were happy with your life. You didn't see any need to date. And so the answer to your question is no, not everybody has to go out there and find their prince. Not for everybody. At that point in time in my life, my kids were grown and I knew I just didn't want to grow old alone. So I even live here with my older daughter and her husband. We built this house after Don passed. We sold our houses and built this one. And I have my own apartment here. I have a living room and bedroom and bathroom, and I'm a pocket door away from the rest of the family. And that otherwise I'd be in one of those singing single places, and that's not for me.
And how obsessed should a senior who wants to find a mate, how obsessed should they be with it? I mean, I know some people, and that's all they talk about. That's all they think about. They've tried all the dating sites. They go to church functions and synagogue functions and this and that, and it just doesn't seem to work out. Should they be frustrated? I mean, what do you recommend for the people who have been trying for decades and they just can't seem to find the right person? Well, maybe I'm just supposed to live alone, but they don't want to live alone,
Right.
What do you say?
That's whenever you start doing that square peg and round hole thing.
You start settling.
They're going to start settling. They're going to.
You don't recommend that, right?
Oh, no. I mean, there's a couple that I was going to settle for in here. And man, I'm so thankful that I didn't.
What do you tell that person? Just, be patient, or a lot of people find love when they stop looking,
That's my advice. Don't do it anymore.
A lot of people get pregnant after they have so many miscarriages and they stop trying. Then it just seems to work.
Well, I would say be patient and, again, stop obsessing about it.
If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it's not supposed to.
Right. Find something else. Get a hobby. Go on a cruise. Do something. Because I tell you what, whenever you're not looking, that's when it's going to happen.
What else should we ask her, Debbie?
Well,
time do we have left? We have
any other
minutes.
suggestions for if as we age in terms of any, I don't know, take care of yourself, anything like that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's number one too. I mean, my mom used to say to me, "Take care of yourself. You're the only one. You're the only one I've got," and that always built me up so wonderfully because it just made me think I was so special. And that's what I would say to other people too. Just take care of yourself. Don't check out. You know, just because you're in your 70s doesn't mean you have to act. I mean, you know, I know I don't look 76, thank you very much, but I don't act it either. I'm very immature.
Well, it's up here, you know. You're young at heart.
Right. Yeah. I love to read, and, you know, I became an author. I published this when I was 75. So
Wow.
if I can have a third career, anybody can.
Yeah.
And I was 60 whenever we married. So people say, you know, women who are over 40 can't remarry. No, I'm living proof that you can. You can find your prince or princess.
And all of us, you know, look pretty good. So we take care of ourselves. You know, a lot of people just let themselves go. You know, start gaining weight, stop putting on the makeup, and let their hair grow gray. And I'm not saying everybody should color their hair. I know a lot of very nice looking women with beautiful gray hair.
Mm-hmm.
If it works for them, you know,
Right.
depends on what kind of gray hair you have, I guess. But what do I know? I'm probably angering a bunch of women right now.
Oh, that's fine.
And a lot of women don't like makeup. They're into the a la naturel. That's good if it works for them, you know.
Yeah, you be you.
Yeah, you be you. Where have I heard that before?
Yeah.
All right. Well, as we finish, what would you like to say that we haven't asked you yet? And where can they get your book? And how can we get a hold of you if they have more questions or want to talk to you?
They can get my book on Amazon or any bookstore will order it for you, or you can go to my website, ohthefrogs.com.
Oh, the Frogs?
ohthefrogs.com.
Just like the name of the book. Okay, Oh, the Frogs.
Right, .com. And you can order it there. You can also go to my website and take the frog test to see if you find somebody. And
there's a frog test.
Yeah.
Fun.
How come they?
I'm going to go see your website.
It's just a fun thing to do.
Can you tell us a couple of the frog questions just so we get an idea?
Yeah. You actually rate yourself. Do they enjoy talking more about themselves rather than you? And it's always sometimes, rarely, or never.
I have a friend who always used to say, you know, he'd be talking and talking and talking, and he's just, enough about me. What do you think about me?
Right. Exactly.
It's good.
I mean, you know, I don't know. I always found myself, talking about myself was kind of boring, but.
We're talking about old boyfriends or old girlfriends, yeah.
Right, yeah. I've been in I've known people that could go into a room of 500 people, and within 10 minutes, everybody would be talking about for him or to him, or he would just be capturing everybody's attention.
What's the next question?
Do they share common religious views with you?
That's important.
Are they okay that you earn more money than they do?
Oh.
That's important too.
A man should always make more money, no?
Do they practice personal hygiene?
Personal hygiene, okay.
I had guys show up for dates that didn't even shower.
And these are topics that rarely come up, but you know,
right. It's so simple, but it happens.
Yeah, or they don't.
Do they avoid asking personal questions about your money matters?
Red flag.
Mm-hmm. Do they have children that like you? Because, you know, if their children don't like you or yours don't like them.
Laura Schlesinger always used to say when you're thinking of marrying again, that your first responsibility is to the children. I'm not sure I agree with that, but a lot of people do. That, you know, until those children are raised, they're your first responsibility, even over your husband. Whereas your first spouse, the husband takes precedence over the children. You know, they come number two, of course. Well, God comes number one, then the husband, then the children. But with second marriages, it's slightly different because you have a loyalty to the children, especially if you're feeling guilty that there was a divorce and, you know, it's not fair, it's not their fault, and so on.
Well, Those are all good questions. My children were grown at that time, but it was important that they like him because they did meet a couple of frogs they did not like at all. I was blinded. I thought, oh my goodness, this is my friend. And they said, no, no, no.
And a lot of kids don't even want you to date because you're disrespecting, dad who's gone.
Unfortunately, you're right. That happens, but
what should someone do?
Take care of yourself. You got to.
What should someone do in that case where you're really in love with this guy? He's a great guy, but the kids are just, obsessed with he's not dad. How do you deal with that?
He will never be dad. He will never, ever, ever be dad.
And he shouldn't be dad. He's not dad.
But should she break up with him because of that, or no?
That was going to require a very deep conversation between the families. I mean, like I said, take care of yourself because if it makes you happy and this is what you want to do, you be you, and your family is going to need to understand.
Yeah, and they should be interested in their mom or their dad being happy because when that kid hits 19, 20, 21, they're gone, and good luck if they ever call you again.
Yeah, right.
And you just surrendered your love mate, your soulmate, for someone who's only going to be around for 3 years. So think about all these things.
Right, exactly.
All right.
Anyway, that's some of the questions, and then it's self-scoring, and you can get your score there right away. And I have to say, the bar was very high because the Prince ratings were based on my Prince, and he was really a prince. So,
well, I can't believe how fast our time has gone. I am so sorry that we run out of time. But Debbie, how can people reach you? Find out what you do.
Well, the book that is the main reason that I didn't have any interest in dating or have time is The Happiest Corruption, Sleaze, Lies, and Suicide in a California Beach Town. And that was the story. That's the story of the corruption I found as mayor and how a whole bunch of people worked together to stop it. And that's on Amazon, and it's in the Debbie Peterson Integrity 101 series.
This corruption isn't just in the federal government. It starts at the local level, the school board.
Absolutely. And, that's why we always voted at local elections. You got to pay attention to that. Because very rarely does somebody...
All issues are local issues, yes.
Right. I mean, usually they kind of grow into it. They're a city councilman, a state representative.
Right. They climb the ladder.
Very rarely do they become president because they happen to have a lot of name recognition or on TV.
Well, my best-selling book, first of all, I'm at caregiverdave.com, and you can find my book. It's Your Life Too, Thrive and Stay Alive as a Caregiver. And my Facebook page, 34,000 followers, Caregiver Dave. So again, a big thank you to all my listeners out there all over the world, and you guys for coming in today, and Debbie every week. Thank you for tuning in every Wednesday and making us the #1 caregiver podcast on the internet for those who are listening. And until next week, same time, same channel, may God richly bless you all. Bye-bye.
Dave Nasani, the Caregiver's Caregiver, has just released his 6th book entitled It's My Life Too, Thrive to Stay Alive as a Caregiver. It was specifically written for caregivers who know they should be putting their needs first, but just don't know how. Dave is the sole caregiver to his wife, Charlene, since 1996. He knows firsthand what caregivers are going through, because he is one. He now speaks all across the country, offering caregivers his amazing caregiver support package. Even the airlines tell us that in the event of an emergency, to put your oxygen mask on first, before you help your child with their mask. They know that those who don't heed their advice often black out, thus becoming unable to help either themselves or their child. And caregivers are exactly the same way. It's My Life Too, Thrive and Stay Alive as a Caregiver will help caregivers who are neglecting their sleep, diet, and social life and learn to put their needs first. Pick up your copy today or buy one for your special caregiver, on sale everywhere and at caregiverdave.com.
Sometimes it feels like the sun will never rise, like the birds will never